Hello and welcome. This is Jane Allmark and I'm doing a lovely video for Indigo Blue. So I was making some samples recently for them for Halloween, and I made a card using lots of scraps. Now, I don't know about you, but when I get to the end pieces, when I've cut some pieces off one of the paper pads, there are always little pieces that are over, and they tend to be, you know, an inch, couple of inches, etc. And I hate throwing anything away. So what I've done is I have taken from, and this is only because what I had left over. So these ones are from the Morris-esque paper pad, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And this is from Gothic Revival, which is the mixed media papers. And I don't think I've used any on this, but again, if you've got little tiny pieces that you've cut something down and you've got pieces that are left, which would have flowers on, don't waste them, use them. And that's what I thought we'd do today. We're going to do something with that. And so what I've done is I have cut them down into 1/4 inch strips, and then there's always a bit that is too small to like try and get into your trimmer or your cutter, and this is 1/2 inch. So there's 2 pieces at 1/2 inch and the rest are at 1/4 inch. And I'm doing it on a DL card because our papers are 8 inches by 8 inches, which is perfect because one of your little strips is going to fit absolutely perfectly down here, and there's going to be a little bit of trim off. So the DL card, I have done a gap of just about a little bit over 1/4 inch, but you can do whatever size you want. I just wanted a fairly large size. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to lay some of them down first so I can see what my pattern's like before I commit myself to glue. So I'm going to take a dark piece, and then I'm going to take the other side, which is a light piece, like that. And then I'm going to take one of these lovely grey pieces, because that will then work. Let's just make sure I've got a little bit of a space. And as I say, I like to line things out first because then I can work out what I'm going to be doing. So then we're going to have another one, which is the blue side. It's lovely that our papers are double-sided because you can use both sides. That's a beige side. And then I think I'm going to use the larger strip of the grey because I do like that grey. That down on there. Then we want to go to a darker one like that. Then we want to go to a lighter one. Well, that might just be about right, actually. I think that's probably about right, unless I squeeze it in, and I might just get one more in there. But that's going to be about right, I think. Yes. So let me just take these off this way so I then know what I'm working with. So I've got them in like that. Now I find the easiest thing, and I don't always get it straight, but I find it easier to work this way round, because for me, I find it easier to lay them across that way. Now, you can use whatever glue you've got. I'm using just some wet glue that I just happen to have. I think I wanted to have this dark piece first, didn't I? And all I'm doing is just laying a little bit of glue across on there. Slap it on is really good, but I need to get a thin bottle to use it for something like that, and that's only because I just haven't got it at the moment. So, and you don't want it to come over the edge too much, otherwise you'll get sort of wet everywhere. You can use sticky sheets if you want to for something like this, that would work. Tape runner, again, you have to be a little bit careful, because if you're using tape runner on, unless it's literally a 1/4 of an inch size, which they tend to be a bit bigger, it's not going to work very well. Okay, so I've got that piece there, and then we wanted a dark piece, didn't we? And I could use it on either side, but I think I'm going to use it this side because there's a little bit of a arch in on that bit. And you want a little bit of a gap in between, and it's entirely up to you the size of the gap that you leave, but it's just a fun way of using up your scraps, and it looks really rather good when it's finished. So I like doing things like this, because then what I tend to do is I will do a few of them. Obviously I'm going to make a whole card today, but I will do a few of them and then just keep them. So then when I'm ready to do a card, if I want to do something quickly, I've already got all of the pieces in, and I've already got the card base sort of done, as if you see what I mean. Dark, light. Have to remember while I'm talking that I have to concentrate on what I'm doing, otherwise I'll get my patterning wrong. And you can do it completely random, you don't have to do it you know, separately, but I do quite like to have it in a pattern. It makes it look a little bit more uniform. Okay, so that's coming down like that. And as I say, the straighter you can get it, the better. But don't beat yourself up if you don't get it straight. I'm somebody who doesn't, who's not overly fussed. If I get it straight, I get it straight. If I don't, then it's no great shakes. And I always think, you know, one of the nice things about making cards is that they're not mass produced, they're handmade. And being handmade, you're going to have odd little quirks and things, because that's what makes them special, or that's what I think that makes them special. So I always try and you know, not worry too much if everything's not completely straight. Now you can use your grids and things if you want to, but as I say, I tend to, if I'm doing it this way round, I find it's easier and it tends to come up straighter because I'm doing it that way. If I try and do it long ways, I don't find it as easy. Now we are going to use an extra piece on here of the grey, I think. So let's just get this down to the end. Pop this one in like that. There we go. And then I want another dark one in at the end. So we'll just have a little dark one in on here. And then I can just put this in like that. And I think that's probably going to be, oops, going to be enough. There we go. So then we've got a few little straggly ends down here. And all I need to do is to just take my scissors and we'll just cut those off. Like that. Just pop those in the bin. And then we've got, you can see when we put it this way up, it's going to be little bits of glue on my hands now. I just need to wipe my hands with my rag and some water. Good thing about having your water nearby. You can always clean your hands off first or clean your hands as you go. I normally have ink all over my hands. It's one of the signs of doing crafting. You end up with lots of ink and stuff, says me, with bits of paper and goodness knows what. Okay, so that's this piece. Now, if I put this on here, you can see how lovely that looks. Completely different from if it was all together, because you've got your little strips and you've got that lovely grey that comes through, which I absolutely love. So I've taken this lovely stamp, which is the Raven Mad from the Halloween one, and I've taken him and I've just fussy cut him out, and I've done him in green. So I think I'm going to put him in like that, exactly the same I did on the sample. I just did a slightly different colour. So I think he fits beautifully like that, but I want him to be sitting on something. So I'm going to use a couple of these strips to go across vertically, just to give him something to stand on. So if I put and I need to have it on a little strip that's going to go across this way. So we measured that. Let me get my trimmer out, and then we can see what size this is, because I can't remember what I cut it to. I think about 3.5. Let's just have a quick look in here. So this is cut to 3.5 inches. So I need to cut little piece like this at 3.5, and then it's going to be, do we want it at 1 inch? Yes, I think we want it at 1 inch. So it's just going to be 1 inch wide, like that. So that's your 3.5 inches by 1 inch, which just gives me a little piece down here, so that my little bird is not going to be flying around in the air, and that's going to come across like that. So some of these little pieces that are here, I can now do another piece running across like this. So I think I've only got one of the grey in, so I want to have that at the top, and hopefully I'll be able to get 2 in. I think I should, with a bit of luck, So let me just take this, and I'm just going to take a little bit of glue like this on here, because I want the grey one to come in. So that's going to come in on the top like that. Take it to there, and then I can just trim that off. Okay, now let's take this one. I need a coloured one in the middle, don't I? So let's put this one in on the middle like that. So that needs to go to about there. You can see I just sort of eyeball things. I don't, because these are only 1/4 inch strips, it means that you can just take them off if you want to. So I'm just going to take that to there. And then I'm just going to trim that one off like that. And then I want the other dark one down at the bottom, so we can just put that one in there. And then that gives me a little, and what I could do is I could put the my sentiment, whatever words I'm going to use, I could put that down there if I wanted to. I don't think I've glued that right the way down, have I? No. A little bit too frugal on there, I think. There we go. Let's put that in like that. There we are. Okay, so we've got that down there, and I can just trim that off. So as I say, you know, don't waste any of your pieces. If you've got little tiny weeny bits, then fair enough, you know, that's probably a bit too small. But these pieces, I just put them in a little bag, and then when I'm ready to do something else, I've got little pieces left over. So that's going to come down on here like that, and then that is where my little bird's going to go. Now I'm not going to stick it down just yet, because I want to do something else I found in, and I want to try and put it in somewhere. So these are from, they are just superb. and I've cut mine up lots. The little book of journaling quotes and phrases. It is full of the most lovely, you can see how many I've used, lovely little words and sayings and quotes and phrases. And, you know, sometimes even smiling makes my face ache. Whatever our souls are made of, yours and mine are the same. It's always darkest before the dawn. You know, inhale possibility, exhale creativity. Just that there's lots and lots and lots, and it's just, I found this one, your wings already exist, all you have to do is fly. And I thought, you know what, I'd really love to put that somewhere, but I don't think it's going to work. I really don't. I think it's a little bit too big. Because it's a DL card, it's just not going to work unless I cut it completely. But then I'm trying to see if there's any way I can just sort of squeeze it in. Could I just sort of put it, I might see if I can cut it up. It's quite small though, isn't it? So I love it. I just love it. So I'm going to try and do something with it. So let's take this down like this. Because I just love it. And I think that this bird is suitable for sort of all times of year. I've done him and I thought, you know what, in green he looks a bit Robin Hood like. So I just love him. I think he's just a lovely character. You know, when you have things that are lovely characters and you go like, oh, I really like that. That's a great character. So your wings already exist. We already exist. Now, will I put this in? Oh, actually, that works, doesn't it? All you have to do is fly. Yes, that will work. Just need to straighten that up just a tad. That looked a little bit on the... No, that's fine. That's fine. That, I think, is going to be perfect. Okay, so let's start with this first. So we want to put this piece in down at the bottom. So it's going to come about there. But I quite like the look when you've got the vertical and the horizontal together. So that, I think, just works perfectly. So I'm going to put it about there. Because you can see, I just like that, that vertical and horizontal, and then this can come in here, but we want this, I'm going to put this on next, so all you have to do is fly. Now I could sponge around the edge. I don't think I'm going to, because I've got everything else is fairly clean, and sometimes if you just sponge one bit, it sort of stands out a bit, so I quite like to just leave it. That's going to go down there in on the center, and then his little, I want his little feet to just come over the top. So let's give him a little glue. Just make sure I get my glue right up to the little edges. And as I say, I've got to get myself a little fine tipped pen, because then I can use the slap it on, which is a really good glue. But when I'm doing intricate things like this, I've only got it in the bottle and I don't want to paint it on, so I need to get a fine nozzle, and then that will work better. Just to make sure I've got it right down to his little feet, like that. Okay, and this is then going to come, I want to have that just down, whoops, make sure that's on like that. I just want to make sure that that's there. Feet can go on, and he can then go like that. Now if he's intricate, what I tend to do is I'll turn it over and smooth it down on my mat, because then I'm not picking up any of the tiny little edges like this before they're already stuck down. And then we've got your wings already exist. Oh, really liking this. Don't know about you, but I send lots of cards. I belong to quite a lot of different card groups and things, and I'm always sending cards to people around the world, which is rather nice. And so your wings. So this is going to be a card that's going to wend its way across to somebody. Your wings already exist. You see, I love this with things with birds. Anything that's to do with wings. And it's a rather nice little saying. So your wings already exist. There we go. Then we've got our blank. Let's just pop that on there so we can see how it looks finished. Just put that in like that, and then I can just put that one in. Now quite often what I'll do is I'll open the card up so I know my line is there, but it tends to be easier to do that because then you know that you're doing it flat rather than not on flat, and then you can just glue that down again. Take it and smooth it from the other side, and there we go. I think that's lovely. I really like that, and we've literally just done the background with little tiny scraps and strips, but you can see how lovely it looks with all the angles in. So I hope you enjoyed that. As always, please stay safe and well, please be kind, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye.